I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you're thinking forward progress. Come on.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abeticola on 312 Sports.
We give you Forward Progress on 312 Sports, a Chicago Bears podcast. And this is it. It seems like relatively recently that we began talking about the Chicago Bears, and in the blink of an eye, the absolute blink of an eye.
It's week 18.
It is week 18. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
We're playing to win this week.
There you go.
I'm glad.
Asked and answered.
However, there's a lot of wiggle room in that.
How so?
You can play to win, and then also that can change as the game goes on. You can be playing. What are you playing to win? Are you playing to win the championship? Are you playing to win this game? Is the outcome of this game important? May the outcome of the game and its importance change as the game goes on, depending on what the Eagles might be doing in their matchup against the Commanders?
Commanders, correct. I don't believe Ben Johnson will scoreboard watch at all. He's out to win this game, and he's going to play this game to win from start to finish. Now, if they're up, by 3 touchdowns in the second half, do you take Caleb out?
Yes.
Do you bring the Badency in?
Yes.
Sure, maybe he does that.
No, you better.
But they're playing to win this game.
Oh, that's fine.
Because there's a lot to ride on this game still.
Fine. But
the 2 seed is a lot more valuable than the 3 seed.
Did anything change based on the unexpected outcome last night
No.
with Atlanta beating the Rams?
No, because the Rams, if they were going to move up to the 2 seed, they were going to need a lot of help. And losing last night just kind of put them in that 6th spot.
It does affect, though, if Tampa Bay were to beat the Panthers, they need the Falcons to win because of common opponents.
If the Falcons win and the Buccaneers win, it puts a 3-way tie in the NFC South.
That is by tiebreakers, then won by
one of those 3
Panthers.
Teams.
No,
one of those teams. Then
all right, okay.
Yeah, I don't care enough. Okay. Yeah, I don't care enough either because, and maybe I'm discounting them quickly, but I figure them to be 1 and out. So
okay,
whoever it is. I think Carolina has the best chance to win a game.
Yeah, I don't think it's
those 3.
I don't think it's 3 teams. I think it's the 2 teams, but then you have the effect of the common as you go down the tiebreakers. The effect of the record of a common opponent could be affected.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that if Atlanta wins and if Tampa Bay wins, then you have 3 teams at 9 and 8, or is it 8 and 9?
No, it's 8 and 9.
8 and 9. Hang on a second here.
Yeah, I thought it only had to do, but I thought it was only between the Bucks and Atlanta can't make the playoffs.
They're eliminated, correct?
Right. So it's only
even if they were to win, it would get them to 3 teams to a 3-way tie, 8 and 9, 8 and 9, 8 and 9, which is pathetic. And then one of those teams makes
right. But I think
the 4 seed.
They're already out.
Atlanta's already eliminated, correct?
So it'll be the 2.
So it's between the Carolina and Tampa,
right? And So I forgot which one it affects, and I still don't care. It's been another minute and a half since we started talking about it, and in that minute and a half, I ceased to care more.
Yeah, because what happens then is, so that would go to I'm done.
Good. There.
Yeah,
I think we solved that.
Let's go back to this.
We're playing to win this week.
So that's what they're playing to do because the 2 seed is valuable. Like we've talked about this now a few times, that you're the 1 seed losing away from having home field throughout, and that's what you want.
Great.
So let's go for it. So we were curious how Ben Johnson would handle it, and he said, "Hey, we're playing to win."
I'd just like to know which players he has available for this game. That we didn't get any update because they stayed over.
They stayed overnight in San Francisco.
Right.
They got back yesterday, and then he met with the media. It was around 4 or 4:15, so it was later in the day than normal. So he didn't have a chance to do his,
right. They haven't
his
checked
regular
in
meetings.
yet.
Yes.
They haven't come in and been looked over by everybody. He hasn't sat down with their trainers and medical people to give them any official reports, so he's not going to speak out of turn.
Correct. All right, so let's get into some audio here from Ben Johnson, and just going to go down the list. And these all the questions are included here this week. The Bears media did a really nice job.
Is it all Kevin Fishbane and Courtney Cronin again?
It is not. Yeah,
okay.
that was only the post-game show.
Okay.
The post-game press conference after the Niners game. It was just Fish and Courtney. They were asking questions.
Like I say, it perfectly capable.
Oh yeah,
of handling
fine.
it. Yes.
It just stood out because that's not normal. So all the questions are here for you. I'll just let you go through. This is Ben Johnson meeting with the media yesterday, early evening.
Hey Ben, I know you said last night that you got that last play in a little later than you wanted to. Knowing that, acknowledging that, as you went back and watched it, what are kind of some of the other options that could have helped make it a better result?
Shoot, you got me stumped on that one. I mean, we really needed to line up in the right formation and get the execution of it down right to have a chance, in my opinion.
Earlier in the fourth quarter, Caleb hit Colston on the kind of look like an out and up on the left sideline for a big play. Just obviously those two have really connected well throughout the last couple months. That play specifically, what was notable to you about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got a lot of time on task now at this point. They spent a lot of time after practice perfecting their craft, just the two of them, and I think it's really starting to pay off for us. Really accurate ball there by Caleb. He had to put that right on the money. I thought the linebacker did a nice job rallying and making it a contested play. And yet Colston's length really showed up, and you put that ball out in front, he runs right through it. He's like a big wide out in a lot of ways, and then you see him blocking, and it's like, oh, he's a six lineman sometimes as well. So he's doing a phenomenal job for us, and he's just going to continue to get better and better.
So you've been around this team, covering the team, a lot of different teams. You've heard a lot of coaches. Have you heard a guy as honest and willing to talk like Ben Johnson? Like who says to a reporter, "Oh, you stumped me on that one"?
Well, he didn't really answer the question, though.
He didn't because he was stumped. And,
well,
he's not gonna make up an answer. Where I think other guys would just make up answers just to. I don't
think he was actually stumped. I think he didn't want to go into exactly what went wrong in there. He wasn't going to start calling out players or.
I heard it differently.
I think he could have if it were just the two of you sitting down and he's pointing at film.
Yeah.
He would definitely say, "Oh, he thought this was X-Jet 6-4 and this was X-Jet 7."
I don't know. I heard the tone differently, and I think that he just hadn't had the time to really go through the film like he wanted to, because he wasn't in his regular situation at that point.
Coach.
Yeah, I know.
And what you hope is he stays this way.
And it showed a couple times in that game on Sunday too.
But what I mean is, as far as his relationship with the media,
I hope so.
That everybody who takes this job says, I'm going to be different. I'm not going to be as confrontational or contentious or adversarial.
Although we saw a little bit of that on Sunday
he'll get his hackles up in a game.
Fish, when he asked him about,
we talked about it yesterday. Yeah, weren't you?
Yeah.
Or the way he is at some halftime interviews where he sounds a little short and a little sharp.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay. You're in the middle. It's your workplace. I don't. Generally, it's like talking to a baseball manager in the middle of a game sometimes, or if you're trying to talk to a coach in the middle of a game, it's hard. They're busy. They're in coach mode. They're not in talk to the media mode at that point. But usually that starts to wear away. I'm not saying everybody turns into John Fox,
right?
But after a while, you just hope that people can remain themselves.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he's pretty comfortable with who he is. I wanted to play these two cuts first because to me it showed that honesty and transparency of Ben Johnson, and I heard that tone differently than how you heard it, which is fine. But here's the next one from our guy Herb.
You're better at it than I am, though. Let me say this: that throughout this season, I think on record, your instincts at interpreting Ben Johnson have shown to be more on his frequency than I have been.
I've worked towards it. All right, here's one from our buddy Herb.
Coach, I want to go back to the field goal drive. I know that the run game wasn't prolific, but it was efficient. When you guys got down to the 10, and hindsight being what it is, I know you had the middle screen set up. What did you like more about the passes there as opposed to with the run?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I'm not very out of that whole game, that field goal drive. Once we got in the res, I wasn't very happy with how I called that. 100% right.
Yeah.
Why not?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. It's great to hear. Instead of a guy being offended because some reporter is questioning the way I ran my game, he was like, yeah, you're spot on, man.
But it's also because it's Herb.
Uh-huh.
I think if that's just some rando he doesn't know, the answer might be different. But I think Herb is also coming from a point where everybody on that team knows that he knows what he's talking about.
And you notice how Herb addressed him? His coach?
Yeah.
He's the only guy.
Yeah.
The only one, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my feelings about that, sort of like, yes, chef, which I hate.
Oh, you do?
Oh.
When I make dinner at home, I require the family to call me chef.
Now that I'm absolutely behind, without question. I made a Tuscan white bean soup last night, and I kind of
because you're doing multiple meals again.
Yeah, but I made the Tuscan bacon. It's supposed to be done with pancetta, but I substitute smoky American bacon, white bean and chicken stock and garlic and escarole. Oh my God!
Oh, so it's like the white soup from Olive Garden. I know you love that. You copy that? Is that what you're...
Oh, I'm trying to make everything. This is my Uncle Mario from Italy.
I think it was Luigi.
No, I think it was...
I thought it was Uncle Luigi who burned the house down because his family took him to Olive Garden.
It's the best because in the commercial they're trying to make it like Uncle Luigi's here, and therefore, look, he loves it. So therefore, it is quintessentially and perfectly Italian. It is so. The stamp of approval from Uncle Luigi
from Italy,
because for authenticity,
he flew in from the old country.
Flew in from the old country, and here he is putting the stamp of authenticity. Meanwhile, what would actually happen? What did you say? He took a flamethrower to the place.
Yeah, he burned the house down.
What's it? How you say? How you come? Que se dice? What is this horseshit?
Right.
Yeah.
Uncle Luigi, try a bite of this lasagnatini. Right.
What the fuck is Alfredo?
That's why he throws it across the room.
Right. Who the fuck's Alfredo and what is this?
Try a breadstick. Seriously.
It's my uncle.
It's bread, but it's in the form of a stick.
What?
Italian man kills family, burns down home after dinner.
Returns to Italy. Will not be extradited. Right. Italian government has his back.
Yeah, he's at customs like, you believe this shit? Yeah. He took me to a place called Olive Garden.
They said it was a never-ending soup bowl of minestrone.
I like the lasagnatini. It's my favorite form of pasta. All right, here's another question. Okay. This is Ben Johnson.
Ben, the second to last play that you guys had yesterday with the pitch from Loveland to Swift, just watching it looked like it was it looked precise. And I was thinking back to the offseason when you raised issues about the sloppiness and in the preseason saying these guys aren't ready yet to run the full playbook that I have. It seems like you guys have come a long, long way in that area.
I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. We've taken the training wheels off. These guys are doing a phenomenal job coming into the building each week and taking a plan and bringing it to life. I can't say enough good things about whether they're rookies, undrafted, veteran players. It doesn't matter who it is on offense right now, but they've really bought into how we go about our business. I agree with you. The precision on a play like that is really the starting point, and it's been something that we've done all year long, and yet just haven't felt good enough to call it in a game. And then when you see it this week in practice, it gives you confidence. And so, obviously, I'm not happy with the result. Okay, would have loved to have scored a touchdown. Would have loved to get it out of bounds. And yet, I think the guys did a pretty good job with the execution of the play.
For you to have the trust level to call that in that moment, they must really have changed the way you can call a game now if you are confident enough that they can run something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's I've got immense amounts of trust for everybody on the offense right now. I think, like I said, it's just every week you just see them go about their business, and I'm not going to call a play that I don't fully believe in, that we're not going to execute at the highest level. And so we'll always, if we go down, we're going to go down swinging like that.
All right.
Okay, first of all,
yeah,
that is a really carefully asked, artfully asked leading question by Jason Leisure.
Mm-hmm.
He did a wonderful job with that question. Because you saw what Jason Leisure wrote today for the Sun-Times.
Yeah.
That was about that. So, but he said, boy, you got to have a lot of trust in those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you bet I do. Because what's he going to say? Well, not really, but I called it anyway because we had to. So that was great job by Leisure.
Yeah, really good.
Walking him right into his story for today.
And then, did you hear, though, how he described the execution of that hook and ladder?
Well, here's what I hear.
Okay.
Swift's got to cut outside.
Yeah.
You got to go outside. Because at least if you're not going to get in, get out.
Get out. Because he cuts back in.
You can't go in.
Yeah.
And I know that unless you absolutely are certain you're going to score, if you're like, I beat this guy and I've got a clear path, you can make an excuse. But I think when he says, it sounded to me like you're going to have a talk with DeAndre, be like, come on, man. Like, know the scoring situation.
Yeah, I think positioning needs to be better. I think the pitch could have been delayed.
That we
discussed. We talked about that.
That if you're really running it, that becomes almost an option. Yep.
Rewatching it again, though, I think the positioning on the field can be a little bit better. And he described it that they executed it pretty good. And that's not at the highest level I think that he's expecting right there. Also, and we had this discussion on Forward Progress or on DBU about the training wheels coming off for a full playbook. Mm-hmm. I would love to hear Ben Johnson's perspective on how that progression happened for him when he saw it. Was it one moment? Was it a sequence of weeks of practices where it was like, was it really all hinging on Caleb?
Let me bring up another question then. When he said seeing it in practice, we know that he's got, like we talked about yesterday, the reserve wine list.
Yeah.
How many of those are practiced every week?
I'm guessing a lot because it's not the first time it's come up.
I am too. So does he say, look, we put these in July, but let's run it again. How often is something used in practice a predictor, or is it already having watched game film? Do they then say, let's if say the reserve list is 20 deep? Mm-hmm. Do they then, after a first pass at film, say, you know what, I want to do 6, 13, 18, and 19 off the reserve list? What we're calling it, the off menu wine list or whatever he's got. Put those in this week just in case. Is that how it works? I'd love to have this conversation with him. Or do they practice 1 through 20 every week?
I think there's a certain number of plays that they practice every week, that they walk through every week, and they go through. And I don't think they go through multiple times. Maybe they do. But I think he designates a portion of their week to go through these particular plays. Mm-hmm. And then based on how they're executing in practice, how confident he feels.
And the personnel he's got available.
And how it matches up to who they're playing. If he feels that he's seen opportunities in their defense to run play 9.
Right, so let's say he looks at it like, they do a lot of single high in between the 20s. Or it's a lot of 2-man within the 20.
Right.
Or just a basic tendency and say, if we get that look, if we do a quick count, like a false snap, and we see this guy take a couple steps in, I want to kill to this.
Right. Or this defense, based on what they do typically in the red zone, would open up this particular play to happen for us.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I would love to have that conversation with him and ask him.
Yeah, but you're right. When he says, I saw how it looked in practice, the recency effect said, all right, yeah, it's time for this.
Yeah. They're there now. we're executing it like I
I'm
want.
glad he let us in that way.
All right, and then here's one about the touchdown pass to Loveland, which there's more in here to get out of Ben Johnson, which I love.
Hey, Coach. On the touchdown to Colston Loveland, what impressed you about Caleb being able to keep that alive on the free play and then the throw that he made?
Yeah, no, I thought it was just really well executed by the entire offense. We walked through those plays, the early plays in the game that morning for a night game like that, and so we kind of talked it through that we would work a hard cadence on that particular play, and if they jumped, then we wanted to take a shot, and so it was really well done. It was really well done, and Colston kind of broke off his route when he felt Caleb extend the play a little bit. The guys up front, they kind of felt the D-line go slack a little bit, which can be the tendency at times on free plays. And so Caleb was able to find a little bit of extra time and threw a great ball down the field. Once again, he has these throws every week that you're just like, hey, I don't know how many quarterbacks in the NFL can really do that on a regular basis.
So I loved, like we heard it about a few weeks ago, that they're play hunting. There's certain like coverage hunting. And here they deliberately practice a play with a hard count, knowing that they may have a tendency to jump on this particular count in this particular situation. And if so, here's what opens up downfield for us.
The way he described
like that's crazy to me.
Feeling the defensive line go slack a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can see them just like maybe stand up a little bit, relax.
Yeah, Caleb had plenty of time to drift back and wait for Colston, who was breaking left and then broke out right, and gave him a beautiful ball. But I just love that he's so specific and detailed in a particular moment of a game.
Well, when you think,
and how satisfying do you think that would be? Because I know on a much smaller, insignificant level of coaching youth football, when you see something in film against a defense, and then you're able to put something in and then execute it, like the feeling of satisfaction. But to do that at the professional level,
okay, well,
how crazy is that?
Let me take it a step further to one of the great movie moments of all time. Will you buy the premise that football specifically is a simulacrum of war?
Sure.
It's about gaining territory from your opponent, beating your opponent, and driving into his home area.
Right. I don't subscribe to the whole, we're going to war and battle thing. But I get it. Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember in Patton when they're fighting in North Africa?
Okay.
And Patton defeats Rommel.
All right.
It's the Battle of El Alamein? Is that right?
Adam Amin.
No, not the Battle of Adam Amin.
Oh.
No, that's different.
Okay. Yeah.
The winner gets to do a DJ set at
a hug
at a local club. It gets a great sort of life-restoring hug. But no, I think it was the Battle of El Alamein, and Patton, in the movie, George C. Scott as Patton, in the cinematic moment, he goes, "Rommel, you magnificent bastard! I read your book!" And he did. He apparently had read the book that Rommel wrote about desert fighting tactics and got the drop on him. And I don't know the military explanation or the jargon or exactly what he did, outflank him or trapped him or pincer movement, whatever he did. But that was like the ultimate satisfaction of defeating the great German general because he read his book.
Yeah, and you're kind of saving lives too, so that would be a little more significant.
Well, yeah, you're defeating fascism back when it was cool.
But
when people wanted that,
when they did,
back when
it was
a
good thing to do.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it though, and I would love to hear just on a personal level for him, like how satisfying that is. It's like to target and identify something and then call it and recognize it, and then it's executed.
Shouldn't we know as Bears fans how he felt? Remember Stumblebum? Remember the play that he designed against the Bears, where they did a fake. My klutzy quarterback is being klutzy again, and they did it on purpose. Same thing, hunted the coverage, knew the behaviors. The Bears have been on the other side of that, and it's probably all he could do to not do a dance over there. To just have his
because he has to be steady Eddie.
Have his serious
that's his thing.
Steady Eddie face over there instead of being like what the rest of us would be doing.
Right.
Gotcha. Got him.
Yeah, I would love to have a conversation with him about stuff like that, about coachy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. This is about the last play of the game, and then he gets asked about Roma Dunze.
Ben, going back to that final play, how realistic of an option is Swift in the flat there? I know Caleb's looking down the middle of the field, but how realistic is it to expect him to see that type of play?
Yeah, I mean, with everything that was going on, I don't see that as a potential option. I think there was a little bit more chaos than what you would like in a situation like that. And so, I think Caleb did what he could to make chicken salad out of it.
Ben, how's Roma Dunze coming along, and is there a chance that you guys see him on Sunday?
Yeah, he's right on track with where we have him slotted, and so we'll kind of go through the course of the week here and see what his availability is in terms of practice.
I just like the chicken salad.
Well, where do you have him slotted? What is that? He's not going to answer that.
No, he's not.
Playoffs would be my guess.
Yeah, and we'll get more into that too in just a little bit about Rome and other injuries on the Bears. We'll continue on. Ben Johnson audio.
Hey Ben, you gave up 6 touchdowns yesterday. What do you need your defense to improve on between now and the start of the postseason?
Stop.
Yeah, well, I mean, it always comes back to fundamentals, and so it's gap integrity in terms of the run defense. We're playing a really good offense right now. Okay, so that's I do think that has to be stated because they're averaging about 35 points over the last 5 weeks. All right, so they're hot. I didn't feel like our offense did our part in the first half. We did not possess the ball. We had a couple 3-and-outs. And you look at our defense, they got a pick 6, they got a couple punts, and if we bow up in the red zone, I think we feel better about the performance. And that's not to take anything away from San Fran. They did a great job, but there are certainly things fundamentally that we can improve on, and we're going to look to address here this week.
You talked about red zone defense. You were really good against the Packers in the red zone. What typically carries over from week to week in terms of what you need to do to be good down there?
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of a loaded question because I don't want to give away philosophy how I see it, but each week's a little bit different. Every offense has a different red zone story to them, and so they simply executed better than we did with their plan.
And remember, they did have a red zone takeaway.
I would like to hear what fundamentally. Well, they had a red zone takeaway that's called back, but I would like to hear when he says fundamentals. What fundamentals? Are you talking your shoulder angle on tackling? Are you talking about your pad level when being blocked or trying to defeat a block? Are you talking about hand placement? There are a lot of things that can fit into fundamentals.
There are, and
your split?
What I took that was as far as their alignment and their positioning and understanding their assignments. That's what I took that as. I didn't take it as like actual physical body movements or how to play a particular way. I took that as knowing your assignment better and executing it better.
Are you shifting under or over and why? And then if you're disguising who the mic is, I mean, a lot of this stuff is. Yeah. I'd like to know what fundamentals.
Yeah. A couple more here.
Hey, Ben, looking back at the first half, I think you guys ran the ball 5 times. Like, as you watched the game back, did that stick out to you as an anomaly, something that you weren't expecting, were expecting? I know you were in a shootout, but was that, I guess, what do you think about that as you look back at it?
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to look at the exact numbers. My guess is we probably had less than 20 plays in the first half. And a handful of those would have been second and longs and third downs. And so if you take those out, we're probably about 50-50 run to pass, which is probably what we typically average. So that's just off the top of my head, though.
And then as far as Detroit and game planning for week 18, I don't know if Dan's talked about if starters or not, what he's doing, but how do you view just like what's still ahead of you, the 2 or the 3 seed, and how decisions that you'll make, like how do you weigh the importance of seeding in this game?
Yeah, we're playing to win this week.
He was right. 19 plays
to 47, I believe.
It was 47 and 19 total plays run in the first half. San Francisco had more first downs with 22
than Bears did.
Than the Bears had plays with 19. So, okay. He already sort of fell on his sword when it came to play calling late and passing rather than running. So I didn't know he was going to do it twice. But he's just saying he didn't have enough plays.
He didn't. And no, and I thought that was a fair answer that he gave, because you certainly didn't. You just didn't have enough plays. You didn't have the ball long enough. You didn't execute to keep drives alive. But I think he knew going into it, though, that he was going to be passing more than running anyway. I mean, he's talking about a team that's scoring, that was averaging 35 points a game the last 5 weeks going into that game. You're not going to run the football 30 or 35 times.
And they scored 38 points.
Well,
31 as far as their the offense.
Yeah, 31 for the offense.
But still, like, I'm not quibbling about play calling in this game, with the exception of that last drive.
Yeah, and thinking back through the season as well, they've given up 42, 42, 52. Can't do that.
That's Trestman-y.
Yeah, that's I'm going to say that's probably too many points to give up.
I think you're probably right there.
Last one.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Yeah, that's correct. And all right, I like this one too. He kind of chuckles about it too. It's funny.
Ben, I wanted to start with the long touchdown to Luther. After the game, he told us that he wasn't supposed to even get the ball on that play. He was running a clear route. What did you see when you watched it on film with Caleb? And what did you, obviously the result you like, but just the way he went through his progressions to get to Luther on that?
Yeah, must not have installed that play very well then, if he felt that way. He was certainly part of the read. He was probably less likely to get the ball. Okay. But yet Caleb felt like he could see. It was more of a layered concept there. We had Colston low, we had DJ in the middle, and then Luther was high, and they just dropped him a little bit, and he got a step on him, and so it was good. It was great for Caleb to see that. I thought the protection was outstanding. It was a drop back pass where you're holding it for a good 7-step timing there from the gun, and so you needed to make sure you had plenty of time, and I thought those guys did it up front, and that's really the key to the play, in my opinion, to give Caleb enough time to get that ball out. Outstanding throw, outstanding catch.
Well, I understand if there's a discrepancy between him saying he's in the play and Ben saying, well, I didn't design it properly. Almost always, that's the clear out guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's only there to pull stuff away from DJ Moore middle or the shallow cross. So how does Tim Jenkins phrase it when he talks about a read like that? He'll say, you got to ask the hot girl to the dance sometimes. Yeah. By which he means, even though it's not necessarily designed to get the deep guy, if you think you got it, go ahead and throw it.
Right, but I think that's why there's, I heard a little bit of a disconnect there then from his young player to what his scheme calls for, because you are part of the play. And while you might be a clear out guy, you're still an option to receive the goddamn ball. You're in the play. If you're running, so I'm wondering, how often does that happen with a wide receiver where they're running a route just for the sake of running a route?
All the time.
That shouldn't be happening with Ben Johnson, because if you're on the field and you're one of the 4 or 5 guys going out for a pass, you might get the pass.
I think it's probably, well, we know that from the numbers.
Yeah, and obviously he creates opportunities for mismatches. And he's going to create opportunities for Caleb to be most successful with a passing play that's going to be executed at the highest level for success.
I think it's semantic. I think it's probably semantic in that there's a 90% likelihood based on the number of times this play's been run where the ball is going.
And it could just be the fact that when they've run it in practice, Caleb just doesn't throw to Luther, and Luther hasn't gotten the ball either at all in practice or not much. So, yeah, I'm clearing out. I'm going to run. Oh, yeah. So, obviously, he's ready to catch the ball, but it's I want all my guys to be in their mindset.
On every play.
I'm the number one guy, regardless of what the play's calling for.
But they've run it
in that regard.
When you run it as much as they do.
Yeah, I know.
They're muscle memory.
Right. He's running because he's clearing out space. He's crawling attention and being a distraction. Yeah. So Loveland or DJ get the ball, and I'm going to run. I'm going to get, oh, shit, the ball's coming.
And sometimes you see that when you see somebody have to accelerate late because they maybe did break it down a little bit too early. They did gear down. That's one of those things that a trained eye can watch late in the game or late in the season to see how hard guys are trying.
With DJ a couple times earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. It was there.
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, guys have their moments.
Yeah, they do. That's fine. All right, so lots of cuts there from Ben Johnson, but I thought a lot of good questions, a lot of good stuff from Ben.
All good stuff
as well.
So where are we on who's playing? That's what I want to know. Because if Rome Odunze is probably not coming back, we had conflicting reports. We were terrified about what happened with Luther Burden, and then after the game, he seemed to say, well, I was just tired, and then Schefter reported that the quad injury was not serious, so we don't even know where he's going to be on the report.
Yeah, so like Rome is my focus here on this, because I'm wondering with Rome Odunze, and we've talked about this a little bit briefly, when did this injury occur? And how long did he still play for?
Well, they said it was heel initially, correct?
I think so.
And then it turns out it's a stress fracture. I guarantee you after the season, he'll have a procedure.
So how long, like when did the injury show up? When did he start being put on the injury report? How long did he continue to play for when maybe he shouldn't have? So I just went back to look at some of Rome's games. So he's played 12 games this year. And leading up to the Cincinnati game, remember he had the Baltimore game where he had the 10 targets and 7 catches. Then we go to Cincinnati. The Cincinnati game, if you remember, he was 0 for 3. 3 targets, no catches. After that, the Giants, 10 targets, 6 catches. Minnesota, 6 targets for 2.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, 9 for 3. Philadelphia, 6 for 2. And then he's out. So his catching percentage in those 5 games, was 32%. 32%. The previous 7 games, his catch percentage was 52%. So I'm wondering, when did this, I have to go back and look when he came up on the injury report, when this injury occurred, how long he tried to play on it for, and why wasn't anything done sooner?
Did that exacerbate something?
That's what I'm wondering.
Because a stress fracture can develop over time, often if there is a previous stress to the area, I believe. Because they'll talk about a stress reaction first that can develop into a stress fracture. I don't know.
And if you're just not feeling your best, I know guys play all season long without being 100. I get that. But a receiver with having a foot issue, that's significant to me.
I don't know.
Is he? I know he's on the sidelines, obviously, for these games.
Oh, we know because he's got one of the great hairdos going.
Great,
man.
It looks great. It looks fantastic.
It's so good.
Is he obviously I haven't seen him. He's not on crutches at all, and he's standing and walking around, participating in the games.
No walking boot.
There is no boot. That's what I was going to ask. We haven't seen a boot, right?
I haven't.
So I don't know. So I just wonder, could something different have been done? So he's not.
We're not going to get an answer until after the season.
I know we won't. But then I started thinking about other guys with injuries. So we know Grady Jarrett had a knee thing that he was dealing with, and we've seen his production level has increased since the first Green Bay game. And I've highlighted him a couple different times where I thought he's played rather well, moving a lot better than the start of the season. So we find out he had a knee thing, that he was rehabbing this knee thing to get back to health. So there's a real fine line there between rehabbing an injury and being the guy that's brought in to be a leader. It's your first year with the team, to be out on the field to do your job. How well can you rehab while you're out there trying to do your job?
You can't usually.
You usually can't. Now, obviously, he's found some success where he must be feeling either much better or back to 100% health.
It also depends who's behind you.
He's playing better as well, too.
And whether or not you at 75% is better than your backup at 100.
Look at Kyler Gordon, who's played 3 games this year.
Okay.
He played, where's he played? He played Washington, New Orleans. So here's what he did. He missed the first 4 weeks of the season. Then there was the bye week. So he came back after the bye. He played Washington and New Orleans. Then he missed 5 games. Then he played 1 game, which was the Philadelphia game. And then got hurt the following weekend in pregame against Green Bay. So he's played 3 games.
Okay.
Got hurt in pregame warmups. Missed 4, came back. He's out again. He's back. He's out again. So it's just, I'm just wondering, like, what's happening there with Kyler Gordon. Another guy I look at is Jalen Johnson, and we saw there's a little bit of controversy there over the weekend. He gets benched for Tyreek Stevenson, and then his quotes, which you read yesterday on the show, I'm 100%. Are you going to split time? I don't know. I'm 100%. So I'm just wondering with these injuries that guys are dealing with and how it's being, and I'm not questioning anything about the medical staff, the training staff.
We're not talking about the Bulls.
Right. I mean, I don't know enough of that stuff to talk intelligently about what they're doing, but it just, you have key players that are going in and out and back and forth, and a guy rehabbing while trying to play and not really being very effective. So how effective is it to have him on the field? And then you got Roma Dunze, who you have relied on, and we saw his play drop significantly trying to play through this injury. Was it the best approach to take? So I'm just wondering how they're dealing with injuries and the approach to it. That's all. Well, you know what? It's a piece of red meat, doctor, and I'm throwing it in your cage, and I want you to go after it.
The problem is, I think if you went to any NFL team and you looked at all the injuries and all the man games missed, and asked all these questions,
and the Bears were one of the tops at one point. If they're not, I mean, they're still in the top of games missed.
This is not a cop out, but the answer is it's football. That's the answer. Every week's a car accident, multiple car accidents.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you pick up the pieces and you see who can walk.
Yeah, I know. I get that. I do. I get it. And guys aren't healthy throughout the entire season. But, like, I question a guy like a wide receiver with a foot injury. A guy who's a defensive back that's you count on a lot to do a lot of running and back and forth.
There's also gray areas.
Side to side, and he's got groin. And
diagnoses for soft tissue are really difficult, and sometimes you don't get a definitive look at ultrasound, at MRI, at X-ray, at everything you've got. Sometimes you've got to trust the patient to describe everything just right. It is not. It's science, but it's not always an exact science. Mm-hmm. Because of the number of bits of information and points of data that you're trying to assimilate into every decision that you make. And you hope guys aren't going to hurt themselves further, not to mention all of the Hippocratic hypocrisies that you have about doing no harm, about actual doctors whose job it is to make sure people are safe. And are they safe enough to go out and injure themselves and injure other people? It's like, you know, it's like watching an episode of MASH, you know, where you know every couple episodes the meatball surgeons say, "Oh, we spent all this time putting people back together just so they can go out and get killed and kill other people." That's what NFL team doctors are always dealing with.
Yeah,
so,
I get it. And I think just for me, the two that really stood out were Grady Jarrett. I mean, first year guy, you bring him in and I understand his perspective of trying to play through while rehabbing. I get that. But then Rome.
He's trying to set an example because that's why he's here.
That's why he was, he gave the speech and the team leader and did all that. And then Roma Dunze is your number one receiver. You know, and it's like, how long do you let that guy?
They don't have a number one receiver, and that's good.
But he was, though. I mean, from targets and production level for scoring touchdowns, he was at the start of the season.
They don't. I love the fact that they don't have one.
I know that what you pointed out.
I love it.
Yes, and I actually have an answer for you on that too. I'll get to it.
About the number, because everybody on the Bears has 40 catches and 600 some yards.
Yeah. So I found a team.
Good.
It took me a second.
Good. Let me just mention, while we mentioned the name of another injury, Luther Burden, a quick follow-up.
Yeah.
We were talking about his touchdown celebration.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We got an answer. Apparently, it is a TikTok dance based off of RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's a RuPaul head pop. Remember what I said? That it was like this dramatic lean back? That's what it is. It's the RuPaul Drag Race head pop.
Well, there we go.
Is what he was doing. Well done. So at least we know.
We got an answer for it. All right, I did a quick little exercise on Caleb Williams and his completion percentage, because it's been a topic of conversation.
Would you want to do the wide receiver thing too? You said you found a distribution.
I'll get into it. Yeah, it's just a team.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. No, I just want to go through this. So I went through, and because we've talked about it a lot, and there was a lot of criticism geared towards us about the criticism of Caleb Williams and his missing some open passes at times. Okay,
yeah, nitpicking the fact that sometimes he was inexplicably inaccurate.
We're talking about opportunities where a receiver's there, he has a clean pocket and a firm foundation, and still makes a bad throw.
Right.
Chris Collinsworth pointed out a couple in detail over the broadcast on Sunday night, which Bears fans didn't like. So I just wanted to look at Caleb because I kept saying that it's not his whole game. It's 2, 3, 4 passes a game that were opportunities to be completed that he was failing on, that I didn't think he should be. So I looked at Caleb's numbers, and I went through and kind of repurposed with some completions in them. If he were hitting those passes, what his season might look like. Does that make sense?
I can guess at where we're going to be here.
Okay.
I know we're over 4,000 yards.
So Caleb Williams currently is at 58% completion percentage, and he's at 3,730, 3,730 yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Has done a fantastic job taking care of the football, throwing away when needed. So not criticizing those. Those aren't necessary. So 270 from 4,000.
Yep.
So he's currently has 310 completions on 535 attempts at 58%.
Okay.
So what I did at the Bear, I did 3 different levels. The bare minimum, I added 1 completion per game. Make it fair. Make it simple. Okay. Real conservative. 16 extra completions for the season would put him at 326 for 535 and would put him at 61%.
Okay.
Which would have him not last of starting quarterbacks. I looked at all the starting quarterbacks who have played all 16 games.
Okay.
There are 13 of those guys. 61% would put him ahead of Cam Ward and Trevor Lawrence. Okay. So then I went back through and I added 2 completions per game. So giving him 32 more completions. So that would give him 342 for 535 for a completion percentage of 64%.
That is a big jump.
It is a big jump. But that puts him ahead of Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward. Okay, so he jumps up a couple more guys. Then I went ultra, really, really crazy with it. And I added 3 completions per game.
Whoa.
Which gave him 48 more completions, which put his completion percentage at 67%.
Okay.
Okay? So 67% would put him in the top 5 of those 13 quarterbacks who've started all 16 games.
3 more games a lot.
It is a lot. That's why even conservative, okay? So then I looked and I thought about it, Dan. I said, all right, that is a lot. And if he would have done that, if he would be at 358 completions right now at 67%, where would that put him in the league? Like, is that unreasonable? Is it too far-fetched? Am I asking too much of Caleb Williams? Or the flip side of it is this possible that this is what we could see of Caleb Williams as the Bears
That's what I was saying.
quarterback?
Like, if you're talking about next year,
Okay.
is this a reasonable approximation for where he should be next year?
I think it is.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I
lay that
think
out.
it is. So here's how it goes. If you add the 48 more completions, it gets him to 67%. That puts him at 358 completions, which would put him 5th in completions of those 13 quarterbacks.
Okay.
Okay? So that's reasonable.
Totally.
It's not far-fetched. It's not asking too much. Now, I added yards to it. So he's completing each completion this season
by his yards per completion
is 12.
Okay.
12 yards per completion is his average this year.
That's per completion, not per attempt.
Per completion.
Okay.
So now I'm adding those yards to it as well, too.
Okay.
So if he had 16 more completions, that is, and again, I know it's not exact, but it's, roundabout, that would add 192 yards.
Not enough.
And he would be at 3,922 right now.
Okay.
Which would be really close to that 4,000 with 1 game to go. He would pass that. But on yardage, that would put him 5th in the league right now.
Well, we know that he is a slugger.
Okay.
That he swings hard to hit home runs. Yes.
If we add 2 more completions a game, that's 32 more completions for the first 16 games. That would add 384 yards. And right now, he'd be sitting at 4,114 with 1 game to go. It would also have him 5th in the league in yards.
And it would be through 16 games the most productive passing season in Bears history.
Correct. But still 5th, though.
Mm-hmm.
Then take a look at that going extreme.
Yes.
48, adding 3 completions per game, 48 more completions, That would add 576 yards, which would put him right now at 4,306 yards with a game to go. Would only have him third. He'd still be behind 2 quarterbacks in the league right now. So I think he continues to progress and grow as a quarterback, and even adding a conservative amount of 16 or even adding 24 more completions. It's more of a realistic view of what we're going to get from Caleb Williams under Ben Johnson's offense.
You're talking MVP votes.
That's what caliber of level that is for sure.
Yeah, with those numbers, you're talking about somebody who would be in the conversation for most valuable player.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially after watching what Matthew Stafford did last night, when that's the guy they're chanting MVP and
right, and he had one of the worst games in a Rams uniform.
He was horrible.
He had 2 pick sixes, and I think 3 interceptions,
and he missed the game winner.
Guy was wide open.
He missed him. He had the game.
Missed coverage, and I think I can't remember who it was. Because Atwell was the other guy that got the pass interference that wasn't called.
Yeah, but he had the game winner.
Right. So, again, just that quick exercise, just adding some completions to it, and
Fun.
then the yards, kind of see where it sits, and is it realistic? And it certainly is when you're looking at the landscape of the NFL right now.
He would tell you that immediately. I have no doubt in my mind that he would say, oh, yes, absolutely, that and beyond. No question in my mind.
Yeah.
While we mentioned last night, they were down 21, and then I went back to the Bulls, and then the Bulls game was essentially over and miserable, and I left, and I said, oh, all of a sudden this is a game, and they just scored a touchdown when I tuned back in.
Yeah.
And I stuck with it for a while, and it was worth it just to hear those guys gushing over Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
was really amazing, and he deserved it.
I watched the whole game. Yeah,
and they were to hear Troy Aikman in the same breath compare him to Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith.
Mentioned Emmitt Smith, yeah,
and Barry Sanders.
Well, dude, do you see that 93-yard run he had?
I saw all of it. Yeah, so there are certain guys. And I think this is the rule of thumb for me has been the speed guys look cooler in slow-mo. The power guys look cooler in full speed because you can appreciate the impact of the collisions. Like Earl Campbell, you want to watch him at full speed, because you can actually see how brutal some of these collisions are that he's able to just run through and deliver. And somebody like Barry Sanders, when it looks like a slowed down, do you ever see a fly in a fly swatter?
Yeah.
Super slow, where the fly swatter is coming down, and it's like the fly is sitting there doing his nails, and he's like, oh, there's a fly swatter headed for me. I'll fly away now. And how they see it,
yeah,
and how slow it looks to the fly. When you see Barry Sanders in slow-mo and watch how quick his movements still are, while the defenders are Bijan Robinson's a little bit of both.
Yeah, he's a good running back.
He's a little bit of both, and the jump cuts and the reacceleration after the jump cut, and then he splits out wide. And his hip swivel and the way he sinks his hips into some of these route breaks is incredible.
Wait, are you saying he's a good football player?
I think he might be a good football
player.
Yeah. Don't look now.
Yeah. Then the officials missed on a pass interference call, which would have been important for the Rams. And then there was one play where Rams offensive lineman, his face mask is being pushed up, and there wasn't a flag called, but it was pushed up so far, Dan, his helmet came off his head.
There's a defensive lineman. It was Poona Ford.
Oh, yeah, it was defensive line.
It was the nose tackle.
Yeah, it was the nose tackle, and his helmet got pushed so far it came off his head.
And he still was in on the play.
Still went in on the tackle, but there was no flag. Like, the helmet is actually on the ground.
Guy ripped his helmet off.
Ripped his helmet off with illegal hands to the face and no flag. It was really bad. I thought they missed a couple big important ones there.
I thought that kick also, when Zane Gonzalez hits one right down the middle, it's it's perfect, man. When Zane Gonzalez, that's kicker number 3, I think, because they had Younghoe Koo, and then they had another guy in there, and they finally settled on a dude. And I think it's a rule you have to have Michael Badgley in at some point if you're going through kickers. One last note I have Aaron Glenn, who may be one and done as coach of the Jets, he came out of that most recent loss just yelling about his team's effort and about how they try hard and didn't play hard enough. And I think somebody got to him and said, hey, Aaron, if you're calling out your team's effort, you're kind of pointing the finger at yourself as a coach.
100%.
Because usually when a coach is about to get fired, what do you hear? Well, it's not the effort. My guys, they play hard for me. It's not the effort.
Yeah, they're not playing hard for you.
Maybe it's the tactics.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the strategy. But if you actually say as a coach, they just didn't play hard enough. He then walked it back and said, I watched the tape, and I take that back. They are playing hard. So I don't think things are looking real good for Aaron Glenn right now.
No, it doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very good.
The Bears were not the only team in Week 17 to utilize a hook and ladder play.
The Bills did it.
The Buffalo Bills in their game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they ended up losing 13-12. They went for a 2-point conversion and the win instead of the tie, and they failed on a really bad pass opportunity from Josh Allen, but they did execute a really nice hook and ladder.
4th and 10. Pressure. Allen gets rid of it. Is caught. A little slip for first down. Oh, a beauty to Johnson. Oh, was that sweet. Shavers caught it, flipped it to Ty Johnson.
And they get it into a blitz. All 5 guys coming. I mean, what a play call and execution in these conditions.
But a 4th and 10, and they executed perfectly with all 5 guys coming at him. But he gets it. Yeah, it was great. Really good. Thanks to Fox there.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
TV.
Fox. Yes.
All right. I got some receivers here for you. I found a team.
Okay.
This team had.
Just give me the team. Tell me the team. Tell me the year.
Okay. Denver Broncos.
Okay.
2013.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. There you go, smarty pants. Now what do you got?
Emmanuel.
No.
No?
Nope.
Was Brandon.
Nope.
All right, go ahead.
Demarius Thomas was their leading receiver.
That's it.
With 1,430 yards.
Okay.
Eric Decker.
Okay.
1288.
Okay.
Julius Thomas, the tight end, 788.
Julius Thomas.
And Wes Welker, 778. So 4 guys over 700 yards.
That's pretty good, but my point was the equality of distribution.
I know.
That does nothing.
No, it does. It does do some things. I wanted to find a team that had 4 guys with over 600 yards.
That's not what I was looking for.
Doesn't matter.
I was looking for everybody within the exact same range to show an equitable distribution.
I know
of
exactly
passing
what
offense.
Yeah.
This does nothing.
It does. It does a lot.
I credit this nothing.
All right. Here's my final trivia question for you. Then.
Yes.
You might know this one.
Yes.
So we know that Kyle Monangai has 769 yards.
Yes.
DeAndre Swift is over 1,000 with 1047. Last time the Bears had 2 running backs, Dan, over 800 yards in the same season was
Walter Payton and Roland Harper in 77.
You are wrong. You got it wrong. You're
78?
wrong, dude.
78.
Yeah, it was 78.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was Harper. And
Harper had 920.
That's wrong, too. Jesus
What did he
Christ. It
have?
was 992. It wasn't 920 something. It was 992.
992.
God damn, you're bad at this.
I got it.
How did you know that? You saw it somewhere. Come on.
That's meat era for me. That's wheelhouse for me. Talking about Peyton and Harper. And that's going to do it for today's Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast on 312 Sports.
Forward progress is stopped. 10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.